Yeah, I think I talked to 4 contractors, I think, Ryan Kriegel, Josh Simmons,
Okay, yeah, Greenville Construction,
yeah,
material labor according to bid sheets. The rotten framing of side framing that needs to be replaced will be done, time and material $55 an hour plus materials. And the bid is $33,000.
okay, Kriegel's 33,000. You don't like the idea of that on material thing, but.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm
right,
right.
material, is that?
That's that, I have that on here, the new treated tongue and groove skirt boards, which is basically supposed to be for both sides, the whole building.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
He's
second.
the only one that really didn't talk to me in detail about it, he was the last minute.
Simmons Construction, theirs is for, it says remove and install new green treated tongue and groove boards in lower band of the building, around the lower band, so looks like they included it. The only question it says at the bottom is just electrical disconnected and reconnected, question mark, question mark.
I'll do that,
And their bid is $32,367.
okay, 367, okay.
No, that makes sense. The next bid is Rick Ayers Construction out of North English. Steel, switch cap. 2x8 treated, 2x12. Gutter and 4 drops. His bid is $22,799.10.
There we go.
22,799.
Yeah,
Okay.
22,799.10. That was it, right?
Are those only 3, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
Was there anything on here?
Yeah, read Ayers again, what his
That's
said.
what, okay, so I'm just gonna go through it because it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
62 pieces of 14x4 steel, 19 pieces of 21 foot steel, 60 foot of ridge cap, 12 pieces of 15 foot rake corner, 1.5 inch screws, 2 inch screws, 124 pieces of steel, 2x8s treated, two 12x12 doors and opener with 4 operators, labor for the project, gutter for 4 drops, that is all included.
okay,
So,
and he had this sheet,
do you want, I mean,
he didn't put any, well, he knows what the gauge of steel is supposed to be in that, so.
I guess do you want approve of the stipulation that it's got everything included? Since it's 10,000 lower than the
I
other.
know,
That's a big difference.
Yeah,
That's why I said that,
Yeah,
I mean, do you want anything on it?
what are we missing?
I don't know,
we had this sheet.
because there's no, I mean,
That's a big difference.
so,
I guess we could prove it, and then I could get with him and make sure.
that's what I mean.
With that stipulation that he had everything included.
Pending your review that
Yeah.
it's gonna conform, yeah.
And I think Rick, you know, normally on a new build, he does more of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With steel, he's not the guy that's gonna build a new home and that type of thing. But I
Right.
think for something like this, you know,
You built our garage.
yeah,
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 He may.
I'm not concerned about the work, I just
yeah,
wanna make sure
okay, yeah,
everybody,
okay.
with them being that far apart.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not-
I mean, he's 50% less than the other two.
I worked with him at Amana for a
Or
couple of years.
30%.
Yeah.
Never anything bad about his work.
No. Is there,
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid subject to Scott's approval of everything included that was in the bid. Right?
Second.
second? Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the Rick Ayers bid, subject to Scott's approval that everything is included in the bid and understood the same. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, I'll run through the report here. I was just gonna talk a little bit, the last couple of days have been a little, we've had some sewer issues, so, the main sewer at the courthouse was plugged the day before yesterday. I was able to get it open at the manhole in the back. I think what happened, guys, is because there was a lot of issues around town. I think the main sewer line's plugged, thus it backed up, into our outlet, and we're kind of unable to get in there, so I was able to take a tape, get it opened up, but it was still slow and a lot of sludge and stuff, so I had, Jason from JP Jetter out of Grinnell come yesterday. We jetted the whole main underneath the basement of the courthouse, because I guess I felt it backed up, turned back in there. And we had some sewage and some floor drains in the basement of the courthouse. There was a little bit of nuisance smell with that, but I think we got that all resolved now, taken care of. Since then, late yesterday, we had the same issue down at transportation / building maintenance. The main is plugged as we speak now. I have Shane down there, and Jason is on his way with the jetter.
That's kinda odd, isn't it?
Yeah, and I also called Doug Kinsball. When we were doing that, and I told Doug, one of their trucks, right after we did that, and during that process, rock truck accidentally backed in the trench and sunk in pretty deep in an area. I'm concerned that maybe there's not a belly or something going on there, so Doug's gonna do locates and take a look at that, because, yeah, we shouldn't have issues this early. I agree, that's new.
No, I just meant that here and there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with the city. Shane said that, his neighbor had issues too yesterday, so.
Nice.
Sewers run flatter in Warrenville than they do, say, Lewisburg.
Is that saying about something really down here?
And if you're on the end of the line, like the courthouse kinda is there on that manhole, we are there. And if the main sewer backs up, that sludge tends to push back and plugs your line up. That's, my experience. So yeah, just we get that out there. So I'll run through this list here. I'll just try and pick out some of the highlights. If you guys have questions, we'll go down through here. Yeah, I guess one thing I think I'll talk about is Janine at the REA. She's requesting some kind of a partition in the gym area where they do their exercise, and then they have other activities there, and it seems like there's always distractions type thing. So I'm looking into some portable, and you guys probably have seen these, some schools have them. They're like on a chair cart type thing. They're on wheels, then they can move around. I think it's gonna be like a $700 to $1,200 thing, the ones I've been looking at.
An accordion thing?
Yeah, and you can get them up to 25 feet long, and I think she's gonna be okay with just one of those if I do that.
She move around where she sections off.
Yeah, that type of thing. And I do have money in her budget yet for her building for this fiscal year, just so you know. I didn't think that would be an issue with you guys. If it's more money, I will get back with you guys on that. Yeah, Shane took the blinds from here over to the garage, the maintenance garage, that fit in those windows there. So we made use of those over there.
Hopefully not Susie's old one, that was broken.
Yeah, probably not. It's only 3 windows, so I'm sure. Yeah, Shane's been doing really well. He's a good hard worker, doing good. Thank you for that. It really helps. Yeah, at the last safety meeting, we talked about the, Julie at the state clerks, which I agree, voiced some concerns about the elevator key. I mean, most people don't go looking for it, it's in that trap door there, but, you know, I understand, so I did get some keys, and I do have them now, and I'll send an email out. I was thinking the department, or the elected officials, the 3 at the courthouse, state clerks, Jessica, you guys want a key?
Or Jessica's if we need one.
Okay.
I don't want one treasurer.
Anybody else, I suppose Crotch should have one, he likes to have access to everything along.
I'd rather take the stairs up to the attic.
Yeah,
Can I keep that too?
yeah, okay, we'll do that, and then us 3 maintenance people will probably have one. I did get 10 keys, so.
Once we go through Liz's
So anyway, those are here, I'll send an email out then.
That just gets you to the.
Yeah, that one go around. I was able down, Sam with the critter control, that's the guy you had talked about, John. And we were up in the attic, we spent probably 2 hours in the attic, we got up on the roof. And that's what he does. We only found one spot where we could see just a little bit of daylight, and he says he said normally, looking at the courthouse, he thinks it's right where the soffit, where the roof meets the top. And he said it can be just a shingle that's up,
It doesn't take much.
yeah. So, he's gonna get a proposal, he would get a lift, he'd go all the way around courthouse and seal everything up. Wherever the gutter comes up the corner, he thought those looked like suspicious areas, where they go up to the eave there.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of times the fascias where they, behind gutters and.
Yeah. He said also, they normally, once they do this, they'll put a trap door in so that if there's any left in there, try and get it in a strategic location so they can get out, can't get back in. They'll take it back out again if we want, it's an extra cost to do so, a lot of people just leave it in, so that way.
Just in case.
Yeah,
He took care of our problem. We had one
Really?
several years ago,
yeah,
probably 15 years ago, and he took care of it.
They follow the
Or
rope
maybe
down
another
the
guy,
church.
there was critter control.
yeah,
Follow the rope down on the belt church.
just seemed like a common sense, seemed like a good guy, wasn't the owner, but the guy that does most of the work, I think, Sam, so. And he was gonna include cleaning up the main soiled areas from the bats also would be part of it. Not, I said, you don't have to sweep the whole floor, I said, we can do that. Big areas, there's, 3 or 4 of those where they've been hanging out. So, I had hoped to have something from him today, but he's getting to that time of the year where he's busy, he said, so. Yep, Julie's she's doing well also, she got the emphasis all, working on doing some window cleaning, the lower ones anyway. Getting stuff ready for spring, the lawn equipment, and we are gonna do, now that Shane's here, we'll take care of this whole campus, and we're gonna take care of that down there too. I think we have enough manpower now. I was on that note, for the small John Deere lawnmower, I'm pricing from Sinclair, it's a leaf picker upper / thrash picker upper, they're about $500 or $600. And they'll pick up clippings, and Shane brought that to my attention, he likes that, he used it, I think it'll keep it looking nicer.
You mean like a sweeper, you mean? Or-
Yeah, it just blows the leaves back into the holding tank or whatever type thing. I didn't think that would be an issue with you guys, but I wanted to mention that to you. At the end of the year, we had, Aaron was doing that, and normally, we would have most leaves picked up, but we have done some, but there's quite a bit of stuff out there right now also. Okay. Bear with me, I don't have my cheaters, I forgot them at home this morning.
I didn't know you were old enough to do that.
Whatever, Ray,
Well, you're like a month
you're the
younger
same
than
age
me.
as I am.
You're like a young mother, young month younger.
Scott,
Oh, thank you. You're not old enough to have them.
That's why I gave them to you.
I'm not.
These are nice ones.
I'll take them with you.
Thanks, sir.
They help.
I see better out of these than I do mine. Thanks again.
Bring him your own.
They're spares.
Permits request, we got we ordered 30 sets of commercial, they got light, medium, heavy duty hardware, so we got those in. That's gonna be something that Shane and myself in between can work on, once he gets the keys all passed out. He decided not to get the security ones, Kevin, I talked to him about that, but we got plenty of keys. So we will be doing that as, whole buildings have keys. I get some calls from the guys, and I knew that, and I told Nick we would, because they don't like the idea that they have to get the key out every time they go in and out, but he likes it because he knows it's secure. These are the locks that will lock every time. When you go out, you have to have a key put back in.
So what's those?
Nick wanted those.
Nick sit behind you,
Oh,
so.
there you are.
When I was,
Hi, Nick.
I just wanted to see how it was
So I've been
going.
getting a few calls from a couple guys about
You left it alone.
I didn't want to miss.
yeah.
I didn't even see what company.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
He's quiet.
Stealthy.
Quiet.
He's stealth. He's stealth. Okay.
You can
go ahead and pass their names along. But I can,
No need.
Not a good idea.
You can probably
I
get.
don't bother you with that stuff.
We already know.
did you get your
We
key?
finally got that annex closet cleaned out, didn't we, Jessica?
Shane and I did that
Yeah,
Monday.
Shane was over to do that. Just a few odds and ends, things that we're finishing up still from that health department thing. And Shane does have, comes from construction / he's done quite a bit of painting also, so that's good. So he's gonna do the, like the touch-up finish up there on that.
I've heard nothing but good about him and Julie, so.
Me also, right? Been very good.
And unsolicited comments.
Mhm. Yeah, it's mostly ice this winter. We're gonna have a little bit of salt carryover, probably 3 pallets, but last year we ran out of good stuff, so it's something that we're gonna use, and that triple mount that we get from T&T, Dean says that won't crust up for years, so we'll have a little bit of carryover there. Yep, we got, I know for certain we have, Rick's Welding out of Parnell, Charlie's, Tiffin and Dave Dorn out of Ladora for sure are gonna bid on the grates. I've contacted them, and then we have it posted also. So, and, I did include your specs on that along with the lingo.
Yeah, it's up to you, I was just throwing,
Nope, that's good.
sharing.
That's good. They seem to like those grates at Millersburg, that new building, all the guys do too, so that's the route we went. They've got a nice dip with all the salt they have, and they don't seem to be tarnishing at all there at that location. Working together with Charlie McKenzie and Mars Glass, there's a couple windows, jail windows that were cracked, and then there's some that the panes are broke, they got, and so.
Is that from the building shifting or what?
He couldn't really come up with a reason why. The glass, yeah, the crack part, I guess I don't know, there's 2 of them. I mean, nothing that we can see, Ray. You know, that building's put together with those, joints, so I'm sure it can move, it's got a little bit of a leeway there. But yeah, it sure seems like we spent some money there for as old as the building is. And while we're on that, the people that are doing the joints, I was very happy, I think Jeff was out there too. So they used that wick rope, and then they did a really good job. Very happy with it, and that is now complete. I think you'll see the invoice come across the next claims here for that bid. Very happy with these guys that work on glass, seem to be doing very good work. On that note, probably the next time I meet with you, I'll show you a proposal from McKinsey and Mars Glass. They do entrances to commercial buildings, and they sent me like a 20-page proposal. We've had a lot of issues with the front door there at the office. It's been welded on and redone, and it's to the point where if it happens again, I don't know if we can repair it. So it's just something that I got a quote on, so we can decide whether we want to do something with that. If I talk about sewer. I think these, yeah. There's 2 pole lights. Slade called me about Kinsey's. They're up very high. Gonna have Joe Mead replace those with LEDs. One is out, and we've been kind of doing that as those go out. I've been working on the air conditioning parameters. This time of the year, I never really talked about that, but from cooling to heating and heating to cooling, there's some things that need to be done on our end, just on the control side and the temperature settings, that type of thing. But it's all stuff that's done inside. I'll go on to some upcoming items that we have coming up. Shane and myself are going to try and get into the holding area, the LEC. Those guys have been wanting to put those LED retrofits in there. We got a couple in there as we had Dallas go bad. We'll get started on Nick's hardware when he gets done with his evaluations. Work on that in between. have Shane. Shane has a good construction background, so I think he can build that partition down at Cornell between those two buildings we talked about. I don't think that's gonna be a big thing if we get the materials and we do the work next, so. That's
Great.
another thing coming up. And that's just between the two big buildings, there's an area that's got a roof there. I think maybe we talked about this, but they'd rather have one door to have a key for, instead of two going back and forth. They go back and forth between those all the time. It's about a 8-foot wide area.
Let's be a breezeway.
Yeah, and we will probably have to replace the concrete pad there. I don't know. I might talk to Slade. We might even try and tackle concrete if he's interested, because he comes from a concrete background. It's a small project. We got some seating, some grade work to do out here around the courthouse. We got those small concrete projects here in front of the annex and in front of the courthouse to make that sidewalk wider like we did on the side on the handicap area. And I had already contacted Larry to do that last fall, but it got too late and we couldn't get it done, Larry Pfizer. And we're gonna get started on the April filter changes. Finally decided that we're gonna just do that 3 times a year. There's some filters like here at the annex and then at REA, they're 1-inch filters. They need to be done a little more often, so we do those. The rest are 2- and 4-inch filters, so I think that's adequate. So we're going on every 4 months. And that entails quite a bit, and I talked to Shane about things that we look for while we're doing that to prevent things down the road. And I never got a chance to talk to you, Jessica, but I was gonna talk to you about, and the board about this. The van is okay. It's not ideal. There's so many times where I need a truck, and Shane could use a truck to put things, bigger materials, bigger ladder in, and I never got a chance to talk to you, but I don't know what your needs were. I was just throwing around the idea about trading the van and getting the truck for both of us.
She needs the back end for the
I
equipment.
need the covered back end for the
Yeah.
van, but rides,
Well-
but I know rides well
Yeah.
for being with election.
Yeah, and that's fine. The other thing I thought about was a topper that we could clamp on, but maybe that's not tall enough for you.
I just don't want a rough riding, a
Yeah.
super rough riding vehicle.
Okay.
And
Cause that
I need
election
a
equipment's expensive.
lower vehicle, cause I'm not very tall to.
Sure.
I know, right?
Sure, okay.
Listen,
Shocker.
All right, well, we'll think about that some more, you know.
Yeah.
See what the budget looks like about a used pickup or something. He does a lot of stuff where, you know, I mean, he'll be picking up leaves and sticks and things like that too. There's times where he can just use the truck if I don't have to have him, we'll switch vehicles, but. So. Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything, get these sewer issues. I'm gonna go to that funeral, more than likely I'll be back unless they can get this sewer thing
Okay.
resolved today, so.
alright, so you're gonna let us know on that bid though, right?
Yes, I will contact him probably yet today, if not Monday, okay?
Okay.
I'll let you know Monday. Thanks, guys, thanks, classes.
Yeah. You can check. They're Walmart's.
Well,
There you go. And then, yes. Sir Nicholas.
How are you guys doing? All right, first one, it's that time of year, middle of March. We usually do a resolution to approve embargoes on secondary roads. We used to do seal coats. Last year, we switched the resolution to say that it's, at the engineer's discretion, I guess. So we're gonna start off with the seal coats. We are looking pretty good this year, but if anything goes different, we need to embargo any gravel roads. I will obviously notify you guys, but that does give us the discretion to do so.
Are they starting to haul the heavy stuff out there like they demanded did?
I haven't seen their stuff out or heard anything,
That's, I mean, they destroyed a lot last year.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they fixed it up, I get it, but I mean, it's,
It was, yeah.
you can't tell how the roads are holding up.
They're holding up really well. I mean, I can think of not just them, but other people too that we had to embargo because, but so far everything seems pretty good.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything moving anyway. So I guess we can, motion over to approve that resolution, or if there's anything that you guys, I did attach a little map there that shows where the seal coats are on the back. That's where we will start.
Move to approve resolution 2020-3-13.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2020-3-13, authorizing weight embargoes on secondary roads. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
It's just kind of a resolution, it says the engineer can do whatever.
And then we need a resolution for that.
Did
The
we
next,
fire you?
the next thing on the agenda is we do have a final pay voucher for the Lake Road. What's that?
A paid one?
Yeah.
Back at that, we're out.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's
Years
ago.
That's-
Huh? Probably two.
Two. That wasn't last year we did that.
Yeah. That's STP money. So, I don't know how much is on there, if it's just retention or what, I mean, it doesn't matter. But I'll need a signature on every page since it's final.
Yep.
Oh, I think also on that one it's taken so long because, there was some discretion in the cores, so we got a significant amount of money back from them. Cause they had one or two bad cores, so we got like 40 or 60 grand back. So that's why it took so long to get that straight.
I move to approve final pay voucher for SPPS. Project is listed in the agenda.
Been moved and seconded to approve the final pay voucher. Propelling, STP SCO 48 through 548. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Pay voucher is approved.
The last thing that I have is accept TC, accept PCC bids for patching. We sent out requests to have 60 full depth patches done, totaling 992.6 square yards. It looks like we got a pretty good response. It looks like we had 5 people reply. I did request that they be sent sealed quotes. 2 people
Send an email.
still emailed them. That's on them, I guess. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do. You open up the email and the price is right there.
That's,
I mean,
We follow instructions.
so, I mean, if they don't, to be quite honest, if they don't care, then that's, I feel like that's on them.
That's
So,
right.
and, I mean, we're not, I'm in the business of being honest anyway, so that doesn't really matter, but you do have all of them up there.
Yep. I'm gonna pass that back to me. I'll start with the two that are open.
Okay.
Hawkeye Paving Corp. is a unit price of $201 square yard. Denco Highway Construction Corp. is $138 a square yard. That's the listings. This bid is from Iowa Civil Contracting. It is for $151 a square yard.
Put a time frame on this too, didn't you?
It has to be done no later than June 12th, and the bill has to be here by June 15th. If the bill is not here by June 15th, there are liquidated damages of $200 per day. Rain and bad weather will not be considered.
There you go.
This bid is from Cedar Falls Construction, and this bid is $164 a square yard. This bid is from Midwest Contractors. Out of Cedar Falls also. And their bid is $180.52.
What looks like for Denco?
The lowest is Denco. I will note that,
I was wondering about that.
I have not talked to them. Iowa Civil, when they dropped theirs off, said they would be willing to start Monday. If they can't start Monday, or if they can't do it next week, they do not want it. I told them they could, the weather was fine if they got the low bid. I mean, they're $13 off, so that would be $13,000. That was just a note that was mentioned to me.
We didn't have a reason to exclude them, right?
They knew everything on the bid, right?
Who?
Denko.
Denco.
Yeah, they just, I don't know when they would want to start, you know. I didn't put anything on there that says as soon as you start, points will be, you know, added. They may want to start Monday too, I don't know. Usually in the summertime or the fall, I say, your points will be based on starting date and price. For the spring, I did not. That people are kind of, you know, tight getting this in anyway, usually in that
Right.
window. Denco may wanna, I haven't talked to them, they may wanna come in, you know, in a week or two.
Does the board have any suggestions?
Well, I guess as long as, as long as Denco gets it done within the specified time.
Time, it's, yeah, still $13,000.
Was that a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Denko's.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Denco's bid of $138. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do you want this back?
Yeah. Hawkeye comes in low sometimes, so Kevin has to vote for Hawkeyes.
I couldn't vote for them anyhow.
Give him my best shot.
Make sure it's a lot of money, so we don't walk away.
They made it easy.
Excellent. We had a pre-construction meeting for the bridge down on 225th. Everything went well. The plans to start construction April 1st, or demo, I guess. Still not had a pre-construction meeting for the Keswick Road. Our guys have been spotting some rock this week. The tanker car culvert, both sides have now been poured as far as the header goes. Sheet piling in. Also, they're working on compaction on top and getting rock out there. We did have some site inspections with IMWCA, I got that right. Hoist inspections too, down at the shop, they were inspected this week. Turns out our hoist that does the trucks, the smaller ones, road trucks, is 20-some years old, probably gonna need replaced. So we're getting quotes to see what a new one costs. That's one of
That's
those.
like one of these pickups.
Yeah, yeah. Pickups, that's a better phrase, yeah. I said, well, get the quotes and, we need to be safe there, for sure. We got a little rain earlier in the week, so a couple days it was too, muddy to grade. So I had the guys go out with shovels, and wherever there was water puddles along the road, they took the shovels and made a ditch so that the water gets out. That's something that we're gonna, focus on, getting rid of some of those handrails there so that, that's, each location is hundreds of gallons of water. Could be that, we don't want that soaking down into the road, we want that off into the ditch. So, yeah, I did a lot of driving around Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday maybe, to identify some of those. And some of our graders do a really good job. I know out by John's Way that I thought those roads looked really good.
They turned out really good.
Yeah. So, and then we also are
Sorry,
doing
Kevin.
cold patching. Yeah.
He's not bad, he's not doing bad at all.
No, he's new. He's asking, your guys asking good questions. He's
Yeah,
fine.
I cannot complain with him, no, he's doing a fine job and not.
You guys get them on, you can actually about that.
The bridge on K Avenue is back open, I guess. I think they ended up just dumping a bunch of gravel down in there for now. If it happens again, being such a no volume road, we'll have to take a backhoe out there for a week and do some permanent work, but. Also, we did buy, before I forget, we did buy culverts in the office. We did not do a sealed bid for those. There's 3 culvert
I was
vendors.
gonna say, there's not like there's a lot of places to go there.
There's 3, they email them in, even though the prices are really tight, they've never had a problem. Connie asked me if we wanted to wait and do everything, I said, just go ahead. I mean, they all wanna know what each other bid. I think 2 of them are actually the same family, or one's father, one's son, and so, I think it's okay, nobody's ever had a problem. If there's ever an issue, we'll start doing the sealed bids for them, but, unless you guys want, but I think we bought $20,000 of culverts. Like I said, pre-con, we did have a full day of, or full morning of truck driver interviews, and we'll have another round on Monday. Total, I think we're interviewing 9 people.
You had what, 40 applications?
40 to 50, there was a lot.
Yeah.
Think you found your winner already,
We found,
or several?
yeah. No, even with the 4 that we've done, I would be very happy. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of good applications.
So, spent an afternoon in Corville doing state FEMA training, lessons learned from last year, and if it happens again this year. Did attend the windmill meeting. Spending a lot of time too with some of these permits for the super loads that are coming through for the transformers. I think one permit is 380 feet long, 1.1 million pounds.
Mhm.
So trying to coordinate some of that. I'm not writing my name off on anything that bridge, any bridges that goes over. So I gotta coordinate that they send in a check first. And then I can authorize that to the bridge inspection people, and then we take that check money out.
I'm trying to picture something 380 feet long driving down the road.
One truck being pulled by another truck with a 300 or 200 and some foot trailer being pushed by another dump truck. 3 trucks.
And how many axles?
I didn't bother, I can't count that high.
It's a lot.
What does he make a quarter?
Well, the one, he wants to go through Millersburg. There's 2 90s. That doesn't seem like a good way. They think that's the best route.
I suppose those drivers know.
They would know.
Wait,
I seen him go in ditches with a cement and load up the.
I've seen those loads go through Williamsburg before, and that's
That long?
The issue is they can't go down the interstate. They have to come off a rail
Right.
somewhere. And then, obviously, the one, if they wanna come from the south, that goes over that bridge is the English, and it's a 214 footer, which means it's got long spans.
Yes.
So some of these loads, the bridge can handle it. The engineer was a little worried about micro cracking, stuff that you can't see, but it will handle it.
Yep.
But there's no other way to bring them in. So,
I think those are escorted by DOT enforcement too.
oh, yeah. It doesn't take much to have to be escorted by the DOT, and these are super loads.
They're on site.
So they make sure the rules are being followed.
Yep.
Yeah, and so now we have to, and these are all preliminary too. All of them won't get approved or get the loads. But then they're also, have to figure out that we're on their insurance for millions of dollars because Mid-American so far being pre-approved, you know.
Yep.
But we're getting there. It's taken a lot of time, but we're getting there. Did send out some letters to landowners about, things that I want fixed, that they should not be blocking water. Started the annual budget in TPMS, and today we are out on Y Avenue, it's preliminary staking that box culvert. If anybody wants to come out and take a look to see what the proposed radius is, the proposed placement of the box, and then we can also go over any temporary easements and what we wanna do with the right of way that'll be on the south side of the road that, will no longer essentially be in use, how that would function. It would go back to the landowner on the north, but, you know, they're not gonna want it, they're gonna sell it.
Right.
Things to all go over. And there is a water line there, that's essentially running right under where we would wanna place the road. I do not have a cost yet on what it's gonna cost to move it. Won't be cheap, but also if we could find out maybe what we're thinking on what would be the deal breaker on that. You know, if it's $10,000, we'll move it. If it's 50, well, we're gonna have to just probably live with a 90-degree corner or make it a way smaller radius. So, all things that, you know, it's a little bit of political input, I guess, type deal. So, they're staking that right now, if you wanna go out there later.
Okay.
Or anybody else. Total Patrick's been pushed back, cause he's got the flu.
When you have some time, which you need to take a look at L Avenue off F-52. There's where that, just as you, not just the flat there,
North or south?
south. And, the culvert is kind of breaking off at the road. And then the ditch is retaining lots of water. It's not getting away. Down there by Wagner's Bridge is what I'd call it.
English or something, or what do you call it?
And see, that always floods there in that field. Well, it looks,
Oh, okay, just south. There's a wood box there?
yes.
Any wood boxes do we still have?
Not many. It's not very big.
Yeah.
4x4, 3x3. Have the public hearing next week about, turning 215 to a level B. We sent out certified letters to the landowners.
Any feedback?
No, I haven't. Those are not by law, that's just to be nice.
Right.
I've got no feedback, I didn't know if you guys had.
None.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good weekend.
Who's out taking that
Vinny and Ryan.
oh, okay.
So what time do you think you would wanna?
They're out there now.
They are, but me and Matt wanna be there. We're gonna bring like 10 sets of plans. It's easier with an overhead aerial to look at it. And then that way we can get a feel on, you know, some visual stuff, especially with somebody there, like, how much do you wanna take? You know, there's more to it than just the engineering part. We can make the road and the culvert, but, friendly neighbors too.
When, on the original easements on, when did they get those?
For the road itself,
Yeah, when they,
oh, I can
when they-
look.
well, that's all right, I know it was before 2000, I think. When they projected placing that first time.
Oh, did they buy easements for it then?
Well, they signed them, I know, back then. I don't know that, they probably didn't buy them, but they had easements out there. Cause that was before, way before the bridge on 215, or 210 down there. I mean, that one's been in since 05, 04.
Well, if it's just an easement, if they had signed off on,
Oh, I'm sure that's.
either way, I'm sure that easement is void,
Yeah, that's why I was curious, but it wouldn't matter anyway.
and I would be willing to repay again. I know that
doubt
if you
they-
get an easement and don't use it, it goes void after a while.
Yeah,
It's just be cheaper to rebuy it than to get
Yes.
a lawyer involved.
it's all the same, it's all the same, it's all the same people still, so.
But, you got a time you might wanna go, or? It don't matter to me, it'd be like 11, 12, 1,
Yeah, noon.
noon? Okay, I might swing out there maybe a little earlier, but you give me a shot, you got my phone number.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Bruce, yes? You guys have anything for open forum?
Yeah, I do. A couple questions. So I couldn't come on Monday to the bid awarding for the levy. Just wondering which bid you guys ended up going with.
The Miller one.
Yeah, the Miller one, that was the low.
Okay. And then, out of curiosity, I guess there's been some confusion on how that got mixed up, especially when Lou sat here that day, the first time
It
of.
wasn't Lou's deal, it was the engineer in Cedar Falls that handles all of our levy work.
Mhm.
They had sent out an amendment to
Mhm.
it, and it said on it 9:30, wasn't it? Or
No, it's
10:30?
10:30.
10:30.
But the original document, the
Said-
original bid said it needed to be in at 9
Right.
yet though.
But the addendum.
But the addendum
It said 10,
Did not
Made
say.
it confusing.
and so it was confusing, and the engineer said that day that he apologized, that it was his fault, and so that's why we
Okay.
took it into consideration.
I guess because when Lou had sat here that day, that original bid day, and had expressed extreme concern over the legality of opening the bids that were turned in late, there was a lot of confusion then why this was all redone.
He wasn't aware of the
Yeah.
addendums.
And so we rejected the bids and
It was
rebid,
later that came about.
Okay.
We found out.
which is fine.
And just out of curiosity as well, do you think that put PCI and Elder at a disadvantage,
You rebid it.
They could rebid.
or
it,
was
so-
unethical?
No, we
No.
have the right
We
to
have the right
reject
to
all
reject
bids.
any and all bids.
Yeah,
Okay. And then the inspections, will there be inspections on this? I assume that that's set in place, that there will be some
on the
sort of,
levy?
yeah, on the construction of it.
Oh, yeah, that's all
Okay.
engineered and Corps of Engineers approved and, yeah.
And they'll be inspecting it as construction
Oh, yeah.
goes. Okay. And then I guess my last question is in general, is it always the policy to go with the cheapest bid? Is that kind of what you guys tend to do? For anything, like even today when Scott brought that up, 11,000, you know, it sounds great, 11,000 less, but that is concerning that, you know, why is he able to do that so much cheaper? Will they cut corners to cut costs down?
They have to accept the lowest bid.
The lowest responsible bid we're supposed to accept.
You guys are-
Unless there's a reason you.
Unless there's a
accept the
reason,
lowest.
which we gave Scott the out, that if there was something that he wasn't uninformed on, or something that he did not pertain to, that he was, yes,
Okay,
that's how.
But there's gotta be a reason.
okay. I think that's all my questions. Do you have anything?
Bruce?
Sure. Did we still conduct with communications and meetings, or should I just go right into the report?
Just do yours, cause it's on the agenda, and then we'll do it after
Alright.
that. That's fine.
Let me see. This looks like I took a map of Iowa and colored it with a crayon, but actually someone else colored it with a crayon and gave it to me.
I'm gonna use the coronavirus map.
I don't judge for colors. Coloring.
You said you had an extra one for, my coloring would have looked approximately like that. So I just want to give you some update on some things that are going on, a little bit of the latest, and then go into the combining of regions. We have Iowa Workforce Development. We have quite a few regions set up across the state. And due to Department of Labor contacting the state of Iowa, there's a lot of, it's not just a mapping issue, there's a lot of things that need to be done. For example, Kirkwood in our region was getting a lot of funding and budgeting authority when they never should have. That's something they got it written up right, the whole state written up years ago, and it's being adjusted. So it now has to go through, there's kind of a structure, there's the CEO board for the region, there's the board of directors for the region, and the funding will now in the future have to pass through the CEO board to Kirkwood, where it's ultimately chosen. Another minor thing was we think we did find a good person. It's not finalized in Des Moines. It's very familiar with the whole process of getting it in compliance with all these rules that should have been in place before. I think we're gonna end up working with her. Her name is Heather Garcia. It looks like we brought one or two people from the auditor's office in Johnson County into our meeting that they will be willing to be the fiscal agent for the region. They just had two questions on it.
We want to do it.
You wanna do it?
Sorry.
The last chance to speak, I guess. But,
I think she spoke.
but they were questioning, you know,
She's
like,
still working on the watershed, sorry.
it's,
Or you should.
but it's mainly their questions were like, how much, a lot of it is just check disbursement, how much per disbursement will it be? Will it be $25 or what will it be? We're doing a lot of stuff regardless of the merger. We need, new bylaws. They sent out a survey to all the board members to see if they were compliant with these rules, that you have to have so many Democrats, so many Republicans, so many business owners, so maybe some adjustments there. And ultimately, there's gonna be 28E agreements, specifying all this between, the region and the counties, maybe between counties. We'll also be able to continue maybe Kirkwood for a few more months, but some of it will have to be rebid. Now on to the region thing. I'll have to copy my own map. But we are in Region 10. Region 6 has indicated a desire to merge with us, and it seems to make a lot of sense. They have 4 counties.
Hardin stretch is cleared over there.
Yeah, and we've checked with them, because it's gonna become a bigger geographical area, will there be any problem attending regional meetings and so forth, and they said no. So we do that, although some of the meetings can sometimes be by phone and other things like that. Yeah, it's starting to stretch out the region, and the advantages we see to combining is, you're not gonna need 2 fiscal agents, you're not gonna need 2 boards. The boards can be, I think, 17 to 21 people or more. You're not gonna need 2 sets of staff and advisors, or 2 contracting groups that set up arrangements with Kirkwood or similar businesses like that. Then it comes down to the budget. And you understand why the other region wants to merge with us, because their total budget for those 4 counties is gonna be $377,000. Ours would be a little over $1,039,000. So we just feel like there's so many efficiencies to be gained by having one of everything instead of 2. As long as everybody in all these counties agrees that we can work together, getting together for the meetings and things won't be a problem. And it looks pretty good. So the total budget, if you combine both regions, you have Region 10, Region 6, it will be called Region 4 if it happens. Like I said in the meeting, well, 10 minus 6 is 4, so that makes sense. It should be added, actually. 1.433 million. These numbers came from Iowa Workforce Development at the state level, and we've been bugging for a while to get estimates on all these changes in regions, how much would we get. So we feel like that gives us a lot more money to, a lot less money will be sunk in administrative costs, a lot more money can be used to actually help people, find jobs, employment knowledge, job training, things like that. So the way we're doing it is every board in our region, or every county in our region, every county in Region 6 has to agree to this to proceed on the combination. My recommendation is that we do. We're having meetings every week. I'm trying to, we all are studying as much about it as I can. We think there's a lot of efficiencies and we'd like to do it. So, does anybody have any comments or questions?
So Hardin and Marshall would be still in this region?
Yes, Hardin and
I'm
Marshall.
surprised they don't wanna go in, or, I suppose they don't, Marshall probably.
Well, there was
won't.
some talk even of, Cedar was considering joining a different region, and they decided not to.
I was gonna say, could the counties decide to go, or do the regions have to stay together?
The counties can decide to go with another region, but then it kind of brings everything to a halt as far as the process goes too. But we're fortunate in the sense that every county in both of the regions is pretty much wanting to do this, at least from the people I know so far and everything.
I think the original regions, they must be set up that they were the community college areas.
Yes, it has a lot to do with that. And,
Which is why Kirkwood shouldn't have been involved in it.
and some of the regions, it's really, they presented all this.
It used to be called Area 10.
I know.
They presented at the state level, and there were plans to have 2, 3, and 4 regions in the entire state. And there was one really crazy region that went from the very northwest corner of Iowa to southwest to close to Des Moines. I mean, those people were literally gonna have to travel, 250, 300 miles in some cases to go to the meeting, so.
Even the bigger counties aren't having an issue with everybody going in, because they don't wanna have a weighted vote system or anything, do they?
What's that again?
Is that right?
Yes, you did.
The larger counties don't have like a weighted vote system, do they? They want more votes.
No, they don't. They do not. It's pretty close to Benton population, but then, yeah, you've got Lynn and others.
Lynn and Johnson.
Yeah, Lynn.
Yeah,
Like
Johnson.
in Department of Corrections, it can be a weighted vote if somebody calls for it, and
Right.
like Lynn and Johnson have all the votes.
Yeah. Now, the budget for the entire region is based on, population, and they tally it up for the county and how many's in the region, so. Yeah, we've been very fortunate. I mean,
I think it's beneficial to have team and power sheet and ours anyway.
yeah, and some of these people are new to me, but, getting to know supervisors from, her name is Pat, I think, from Johnson County, very helpful,
Pat,
very cooperative. We usually meet at one of their county office buildings and stuff. And so I guess I'd like to make a motion, if it's okay. I'd like to make a motion that, this board approve, moving forward with, mergers of, Region 6 into Region 10, for this region of Iowa Workforce Development.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of combining workforce development region 10 and 6,
Giving our approval.
giving our approval to it.
Process.
Aye, say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very, very much for the time, and I'll let you know and the others.
Who do you have on Lynn County on your,
Well, that's a bit of a problem. Biggest county hasn't been regularly attending our meetings. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Who's it supposed to be?
I can't tell you the name offhand, I just have to look. I think they might be kind of one like out of 4 or something, we're meeting.
Well, they're, when they went down to 3, they probably.
Yeah, I don't know, they went from 5
They're
to 3.
overworked now.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll get a raise.
They may wanna go back to 5 now, I don't know. But thank you all very much, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Bruce.
Mhm.
We'll take a recess till 10:15. Man, should have done communication.
They drove Susie away, it looks like.
Yeah, I know, right?
Back to skating rink even temporarily.
Pardon?
Go back to skating rink even temporarily,
Yes, they are.
just for an hour.
It's got a little glazer
Yeah.
on it.
How are you, Suze?
Tired. I'd like to not be tired.
I got nothing.
The doctor's mine, I've been waiting a month for a referral, so.
Well, they're busy now. Well, now they are, yeah.
They weren't when I started.
It's gonna make my college drug testing season a little
Oh,
shorter.
they did,
Shorter.
postpone the masters.
Did they?
Yeah. Crossover.
Did they expect you to do it or somebody?
Yeah, I wasn't going to any of the stuff, so.
You weren't?
There were several people that were gonna go to the wrestling.
Oh, yeah, there's some mad folks. It's like,
I mean, can you imagine what, what's his name, Brandon's like?
can you imagine the wrestlers that are seniors?
Yeah, we got a shot at winning this.
Oh, yeah. Baseball, that's right.
And the Brazilian president has coronavirus.
Of course he did, because his sidekick had.
After he met with Trump
Yes.
a few days ago. I like Trump's comment the other day, when he's with the Irish Prime Minister, that it's kind of awkward for a second there when you don't shake hands.
Right?
He is like,
Yeah, the Canadian, you know, this guy has it too. How we doing? I was surprised they can't.
slobbering, puking people are at that parade.
The description, it'll be the same one that are still in the bars at night.
Unbelievable. Yeah, well, I'm not going.
Tell us how you really feel about
I
it.
do know some people that live for St. Patrick's Day, I mean, that's.
I do.
That's their big holiday.
But I'm not going.
Said
It's
no
my favorite
German
holiday.
Lutheran ever.
Yeah, Kevin, a big day for you?
That's it.
Some of us do have Irish blood.
Actually, I do.
Some of us leprechauns got the day off.
He's nearly a redhead. You think he doesn't have some sort of Celtic blood?
My dead grandparents that were McCarters, how's that?
Your what?
My grandparents on the one side of McCarters, is that Irish enough?
I don't know, is that English or Scottish?
It is Irish.
50-some percent or 60%.
I'm at 25% Irish.
Mine were Fitzgerald's.
I'm not the pretty one. You're Irish, you didn't have that.
But I don't have much Irish in me at all, actually.
So what are you doing with your time now that you can't go to Ireland?
It's awesome.
That's free up a couple hours a day.
I know.
I got pain.
You have an well, your cough, I mean, we've been coughing for a month.
Unless,
Yes.
one of them is dying or something. I think somebody said all of our coughs don't work now.
Yeah. I had to take a check out that second, and they didn't get the front door to hand it to me.
Slide it under.
The secretary, whatever they're called, administrative, whatever.
See,
So it's,
You can't get it assisted anytime you do.
no, I got it at the door, but that, up top, it's my main entrance. Let's face it, the check is check.
Is the Northland Securities guy coming again soon?
why, you want caramels?
You do pen?
Or
Oh, I want a
pens?
pen.
No. I'd rather have the caramel than a pen.
I already killed one.
No.
This is the only one I have left.
Was it blue or black?
It's blue. I got one.
Yeah, you
It
got
was one bank in the village has really good ones now.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I love
Concentrate
Keystone's
on the
bank,
caramels.
or Keystone
Yeah.
bank pens too.
I used to concentrate on the pens, but the caramels distract me, so.
They always let me steal them.
I got access to
The
it.
caramels?
No, the bank.
Except that, Ken, I was writing with that coronavirus meeting the other day.
Yes. Oh, it blew up when I tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my whole hands were covered in wood and
Oh.
So you should get, go to the food.
So then I did the, practice the hand washing.
Call a meeting back to order and we'll do communications. Cause I forgot first. And we did that. Raven Royal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start. We had a fairly short debtors meeting, debtors commission, and, Jennifer's been asked to, we're not sure exactly what it is, but there's the Essence of Life Hospice in Madison, they wanna work with her and recognizing veterans, giving out some awards and so forth. There is a, session sponsored by the, VA loans, basically, that's gonna be in the Marengo Library to help veterans qualify for loans. Let's see, she'll be gone on next week for some training for the county representatives in Des Moines for 3 days. And she had 228 contacts during the month of February helping veterans, which is pretty extensive. It continues to gradually increase, although it seems to be working over their hours and so forth. And not a whole lot else really on that one, it's pretty short.
I went to a coronavirus meeting on Monday, and I've had updates like from all kinds of places, like
Yeah.
every day this week,
I think we had, what, 33, I think, counting people there?
Had a meeting with, the health department had a meeting, or the health board had a meeting with all the, invited all the schools, all the nursing homes,
Hospital was there, the hospital hosted it.
and, the mayors, several of those were there. And, law enforcement, special services. And mostly it was just a meeting to start out, to make sure everybody knew that there was some engagement with this, and that, got an email group together that, our regular updates are being sent to,
doctor if you have the flu and you're running a temperature and coughing, because once you expose all the healthcare workers, then they're quarantined. And we're limited on staff, ambulance-wise, nursing home-wise, hospital-wise. We start pulling doctors out that have to be, and nurses, that have to be quarantined for 2 weeks, then we get in a pinch pretty quick. So, that was probably one of the biggest takeaways, other than, it's the normal flu.
And that's, changing minute by minute, so.
May have any other things? We have 1 minute. Sure. Get her done.
Four of them
Four, I
actually.
think.
Yep. Iowa County, Landmark Restaurants, Colonial Board, the manager.
Motion to approve.
Slate,
Second.
it's been moved and approved, moved and seconded to approve the liquor licenses for the four named by the auditor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So we have a sub-recipient agreement amendment number 3.
For the water treatment,
It's just simply does what is here coming in.
I think it's for that additional money that we're going to ask for.
I move to approve.
Second.
it's been moved and approved, moved and seconded to approve CDBG 13 MDRRI -006 agreement. Agreement amendment number 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Watershed Resilient Grant, draw request number 32.
Time flies with the. Go up to 32 already.
Sweetheart.
Motion to approve watershed grant draw request number 32.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Watershed Resilient Grant draw request number 32. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Sarah. Yep. Mid-American Energy.
Just bring your chairs with you.
I am sorry.
All right, what do you got for us today?
I'm a much uglier version of Sarah. We'll be talking first. I think the first part is just a little reminder in history of what we had been through in the past. When we signed the agreement regarding the projects between what was the Diamond Trail Wind Energy LLC, Mid-American, and then the county regarding setbacks and other things in that agreement. As part of that requirement, in that decommissioning agreement, there was a requirement for a financial assurance associated with the decommissioning agreement that we signed. So at the time, that Diamond Trail Wind Energy LLC owned the project. Since then, Mid-American owns the project. And as part of that decommissioning agreement, there was a provision in there, specifically in there to address the potential waiver for that, for rate-regulated utilities. Someone with more financial wherewithal than what like an LLC would have that was just set up to manage that specific project and not a lot of financial backing there. So Mid-American obviously does have that financial wherewithal. We had submitted that letter in there showing proof of that. And then, you know, as part of the decommissioning agreement, the county has the ability to waive that if the owner is a public utility regulated in the state of Iowa and has the financial wherewithal to do so. Most recently, I mean, this has been common practice in all the counties we've been in. We've got projects in about 30 counties right now. And most recently, Palo Alto County granted us a similar waiver, and a lot of counties actually have that built into their ordinance where you get that automatic waiver if you are a public utility regulated in the state and have that financial wherewithal. So we did attach, you know, proof of us being that regulated utility in Iowa, something from the IUB, and then some credit ratings from some nationally recognized credit rating firms, S&P and Moody's, showing we're several levels above investment grade there, along with some other stats, you know, about we've got over $19 million in assets. We're a Berkshire Hathaway Inc. company, so we do have the financial wherewithal to pay for it when it comes. And just a reminder too that inside that decommissioning agreement, you know, if our financial wherewithal changes over time, you have the right to request, you know that financial security if the waiver is granted, or you know if we were to transfer the project, which we have no plans to. We've owned every project we've built since 2004, but if you know the county has to approve that transfer and can request that from the new owner. Any financial security. So currently, I mean, we have the financial wherewithal to pay for those decommissioning costs as outlined in the agreement, and we are requesting that waiver just because, you know, we feel it's unnecessary expenses for us because we do have the financials to pay for that, and ultimately our customers have to pay for, you know, all the costs we incur, so we're trying to, you know, save them from some unneeded expenses that we feel. So we're asking for that waiver of financial security. Things change, like there's a lot in the agreement. You can request that in the future, and information related to our company financials. Hopefully that our financial wherewithal does not change, and we plan to keep it where it's at. But
What additional costs do you have by having the financial assurance? What does it result in or not result in?
yeah, so what would our payment for that be?
How
so
does it work? Yeah.
Yep, so we'll have, depending on what it is, you know, there's different levels in their bonds or letters of credit, but it'll be probably anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 every year, you know, that we'll have to pay just to keep that in place.
It's like a guarantee bond, performance bond.
Surety, I can't remember the exact bond, but
Yeah.
surety bond or letter of credit or something like that, yeah. And we do think there are other protections in here, you know, like I stated, that if something were to change, you know, in the future with the project owner or our financials, you have the right to request that. But currently, we have very strong financials and are regulated in the state.
Does the board want to take action on that?
I'm wondering if we need to check with the county attorney to see what the impacts could or could not be on
He's
us.
sitting there.
He's sitting there, but I mean,
Yeah.
I talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
I don't see any benefit to us backing out of it. I understand your position.
Yeah, to us, I mean, it's just unneeded expenses that, you know, our customers really have to pay for. So, you know, when the project was signed, you know, just, I touched on this at the beginning, you know, it was Diamond Trail Energy LLC, and that it's understandable if the county wants some financial security from them because they don't have a lot of, you know, financial wherewithal or hardly any. They're single purpose set up to manage that one project where we've got, you know, billions of dollars of assets and that financial wherewithal and the ability to pay, you know, for any decommissioning when it happens. So it's just unnecessary expenses we don't want to pass on to our customers.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I don't think the board is interested in it this time.
Is there a reason that I could help answer? Is it because you don't think we can pay for it? Or I'm just curious the reason for that?
You know,
That was part of the.
It's part of the original agreement, you know.
Yeah, I would also remind you that part of the original agreement had that in there with the, I mean, if there was a reason there for a regulated utility with financial wherewithal written in there. If you had to pick one in the state, it would be Mid-American. So I'm just curious why that was put in there in the first place, if it wasn't reasonable for us to come and request that.
I do think it's reasonable that you requested, I just think that from our side of it, when we signed up, I mean, we start amending the agreement, I mean, where do we go next? So, I mean, that's my personal feeling, if you guys have different feelings, let me know. Do you have anything, Lou, on that? I mean,
No, but I think you need to either vote to
Approve
approve
it
the
or-
waiver or to reject it,
okay,
so that they know where they're at.
do I have a motion from anyone?
We need a motion to stay with the agreement we already have?
No. To reject their proposal of
To reject your request.
the request of the waiver of the bond.
Make a motion that we do not waive the bond decommissioning agreement.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that we don't approve the waiver of the bond of the decommissioning agreement. Is there any other discussion on it? Hearing none, you want to take a roll call?
Garen,
No, or, I vote yes to not grant the waiver.
Geringer,
Abstain.
Coe,
Hey,
Adams,
Yeah.
Susan. Motion carries.
Motion carries. Okay,
I guess work with Lou then to
Yep.
get that
thank
put
you.
in place.
Construction update?
Yeah, so the project has been going very well. This past Tuesday, we did have a landowner pre-construction meeting. We had about 117 people show up, just the information of what they'll be seeing out there, and just kind of our presentation of what's to come. As we mentioned last time we were here, we have 41 of the total 77 foundations done. Starting April 1st, we will begin foundation work on the remaining 36 foundations. We have been already placing rock on county roads as needed due to this warm winter that we've had, so we're trying to maintain that. Starting April 1st, we will begin to put more and more rock down as the need-by basis. We will also be placing rock in front of homes as needed prior to doing the dust control for our county road agreement. Again, kind of April 1st is our big start date to kind of all these things to start rolling. We'll have county maintainer graders, water trucks will all be starting up after that April 1st. We will be expecting the turbine component deliveries beginning in May, and that should be completed by the end of August. Cranes will start to arrive in May. We will start erecting the tower components early July. Another item you'll see is County Road radius widening on our public and private land to start. That's to allow the trucks to deliver the turbine components. Those improvements will start after April 1st, and they will be controlled so that only construction traffic at the time will use those. And then finally, our collection lines, we are over 50% complete. We did not have to necessarily shut down for months due to the weather, so we are way over ahead of schedule on that front.
What else? So the big cranes,
Big cranes, they will be showing up in May, and they will be.
how many of them is there gonna be?
There'll be a mixture of 5 throughout the entire process. Not all 5 will be necessarily on site at the same time, but they will obviously all be working different sites. There will be
Sure.
smaller cranes to be assisting those, so just a mixture. But 5 big cranes, kind of staggered as the project goes.
So give me a projection, like the first windmill will be up in when?
Should be June, middle of June, if everything goes to plan as far as deliveries.
Any other new hiccups, road-wise or
None to date.
construction-wise or?
none to date. Everything's been working really nicely and working out well, so we've been having a lot of luck and making a lot of extra progress we might not have made if we had a cold winter.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions for them on anything? Crickets, none? Do you have anything, Sarah?
Going forward, did you, I'm trying to remember, we weren't here quite monthly, but every other month, I think, during the previous construction season, did you want updates to get on that schedule, or whatever
Yeah.
you would prefer?
Okay, what do you want?
You know, monthly while they're constructing, I'd say monthly during the summer.
Yeah.
And maybe I missed a bigger meeting with Nick on a regular
Correct.
basis,
Yep.
he'll also have that
Right,
information
how,
on
are
a
you,
more
are you
routine
having
basis.
weekly with Nick, or?
Yeah, it'll be monthly, so our next meeting with Nick is March 25th.
Okay.
So that'll be prior to kind of bringing everybody back on site. Yep.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else have anything else for him? Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take recess till 10:45. We start early.
And then,
All right, you're in recess, Lou.
I just wanted to get over here early so I could see you, John.
Yes, I know that's true.
You're like the only person I've ever heard that from.
Really?
First truthful
I'll bet
lawyer
I'm
ever.
the first one you heard that from.
Huh?
I'll bet I'm the first one you
Yeah,
heard.
you are.
I'm gonna start charging your rent.
Well, take it with you. Ray likes exploding pens.
I cough all over it and then I leave it.
Ouch. I'm out.
Cancel baseball, cancel the Masters,
What? You really canceled the match?
or they delayed it.
Really? No, that's not till, about this first week in April.
Thank you.
They just announced it.
And big experts said it'd all be over in 2 days, weeks.
From the bond, the bids.
April on.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I can see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all older people,
Yes.
combined in a plane.
My unit, a lot of Vietnam, they're 70s, 80s, 80s.
Original too, that you
I did a press release for that yesterday.
How many do they have?
We hope to reschedule these.
Do they have 4 scheduled for this year?
We have 4 scheduled. We have another one May 15th. We're not touching right now.
Well, that's too bad I
We'd
was.
like to do it in
Get
June or
planned on NCAA.
The worst
Yeah,
thing is they
yeah.
played their first round of the tournament,
Yeah.
so they were already out anyhow. If they wouldn't have played that, at least I could have said, well, this would have been their year that made the run.
You could have said that you only had 19 losses instead of 20.
I know, but
Yeah,
Well,
that would have sounded a lot better, 12.
we were on a run, we were gonna make a run through the tournament, but we'll never know now.
Yeah.
Can't say that because we lost right away.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, I was telling them, he had tickets for the Final Four and the Masters.
Well, I spent money, I paid for tickets to have premier seating and free drink tickets and food down at Riverside too.
Oh, to sit and watch? I saw, they still advertised it last night, that when we came.
Yeah, they said it was non-refundable, we'll see. They better be refunding my money or I'll take
Sure.
it. Riverside,
Sure.
yeah, I will. I might even bring a class action for all of the 100 people they were trying to get to sign up for that.
So what's that, we've been waiting on you.
I will miss that, that's a fun time to watch those games.
Oh, you've done this before, sat down and watched them?
Well, I usually go out to Vegas, but this year I thought, well, save the plane fare, go to Riverside, it's the same thing.
So when you do that, is like all the games are going to like tons of TVs?
If they do it right, they say they said, that's the way they do it in Vegas, they said they're gonna use the event center at Riverside. And I assume it has a number of TVs, so all the games are on at the same time. And then for $64, you get better seating, free food all day, and 3 drink tickets.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, you just said in Vegas, when you go to Vegas, you sit in the casino and watch the games, and the nightlife might be a little different, but.
Right. So my oldest son, he has it set up so he'll take all the TVs throughout this house where he lives and put them all in one room. He's got a big one in the middle, and he puts all the ones on the side so he can watch.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, and that way I can click between which one I got the volume on.
But that's, yeah, I'll miss that. I enjoy that.
It's like magic.
No, but March Madness, I mean, even if you're not a big sports fan, it's always fun to root for an underdog or.
It is, and you can watch a lot of games, and you know some of the teams.
The buzzer beater shots.
Yeah.
The big upsets, unfortunately, Iowa State's been
Gordon,
important.
I can't imagine how much money that's costing those places that wanted to host those events.
Oh, I'm thinking like Omaha now, they're gonna have an empty stadium and, you know,
What about like the,
80,000 people coming in for that.
March Madness, what about the concession people that probably all their
Yeah.
garbage?
But I wonder if like the
Hotel,
hotels
motel.
and stuff, if they'll go ahead and make them still pay because they've got their credit card.
Some of them won't, because I've been getting notices on my phone that, you know, they're gonna, you get cancellations.
That's a big event in Vegas. That town's packed as much as it ever is that weekend.
I'm not sure.
Never been to it, but someday I'm gonna go, I hope before I die.
You've never been to Vegas? What would you do there?
You should do one.
I just wanna go through, I wanna see the water shows and
You
like
could
to
be
see
like
one
that.
show and.
I was checking in at the Las Vegas Hilton one time, and there was this guy up in front of me checking in
Sure.
to the hotel,
Oh,
and he had some old coupon that expired, and he thought they should still give him money off the room, and
yeah.
he argued for about 5-10 minutes, and then he left, and then it was my turn, and
The
the
other two.
guy that was registering people said, you know, I know guys just like him, they come to Vegas with a $10 bill and one pair of underwear, and they never change either one.
Yeah.
Hey, I've never been there. That's up there. I'll bring 2 pair of underwear.
Yeah.
You should go once.
I just like to see the lights, the
It's
people.
fun just to watch people.
It is worthwhile.
I don't wanna spend a week there, right? It's like
Yeah.
2 days.
When I
Yeah.
jokes in the newspaper, I expected a little royalty.
For what? Huh?
If you start repeating my jokes in the newspaper, I'll never royalty.
Start paying attention.
No, okay.
As soon as I hear funny, I'll let you know. I forgot, I found the quarter she made. Oh, it's out of fact.
For the Indiana bets.
I didn't see the rest.
Straight to the.
So the, state basketball game yesterday, they could only have 100 people.
Today,
That's today.
What
Yeah.
about today?
just starting today.
Well, it's okay, 'cause Clear Creek was there yesterday and there was no limit, so they brought everything back.
And all the different ways too.
Yeah,
So I'm going to dance at Ames when I leave here.
yes, we are.
There can only be 2 you can only have 2 spectators per dancer. You're not supposed to sit next to each other. You're not
Who,
supposed
the 2 people or the other people?
It says nobody's supposed to sit next to each other.
I hope it's a big party.
It
It's
is.
Stevens Auditorium, but still, it's like, well, they canceled it.
They're not gonna accept cash or anything,
Oh,
because they
yeah.
don't want to touch
I
money.
usually spell stuff.
Why don't you put
I
one
smell
of those
something.
suits on and go
Here's
in
what I
there?
smell.
Tempting.
Yeah.
And ask
They
them
may
to sit
not-
next to people.
They may not have costumes. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I
What
say
can I spell?
the Ohio Valley had a junior high dance March 20th, and they canceled that. They
Is
didn't
the
say,
play still on?
I don't know.
They canceled their dance, but
They
they're all in school
canceled the
together.
junior high dance March 20th, they didn't say why, but
That's weird.
They're always together anyway, what difference does it make?
well, that's the same thing with those basketball teams, you know, they're always together. Those kids, just because they're not playing a game, they're not gonna go home.
They're not practicing? Right.
They're not gonna go to a separate room, they'll be together. So
Well, think how Fred
I can,
Hoiberg spelled it.
I can understand not letting any fans
Contaminated.
into the place, but the basketball players are all,
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
yeah.
When they canceled that basketball game in the NBA the other night at halftime, it's like, they're
Yeah.
already
Okay,
here.
they're already there.
So, no-
If anybody's contaminated, it's happened by now.
Oh, well.
I'll be interested to see what
Well,
happens.
it'd be nice if that guy was right, he said 2 to 8 weeks, it should plateau.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, that
Can you
they're hopeful.
imagine the money?
It'd be nice if it was 2
we've
weeks.
seen some sunny warm weather, I don't kill it off.
That's a game halfway through.
Congress,
Making money.
Congress is gonna throw money at the
Oh
problem.
my God, yes, cause that fixes everything.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if Congress should be allowed to meet, I mean, there's a.
Well, there's a bunch of them, yes.
I really thought that Congress and the US Senate should
Quick.
adjourn for about 2 years.
I thought they should in Des Moines too, but like, they're hell bent for election, they're staying in session.
I'm sure somehow we could get along without it.
Yes, don't write a new law, we'll be fine.
Well, they're using this to trying to pass something where they can meet electronically and then they would never have to be in Washington. So they could be home with their constituents and families.
No, they hate that.
Yeah, how many come back to constituency?
Well, that's
Don't
why,
mind that noise of the ocean in the background.
that's why Trump was moving stuff out of DC
It'd be
departments.
kinda hard to debate that way, but I guess they never listen to one another anyway, so if they do it,
Well, did you see in the coronavirus bill that they put out, it had stuff about abortion in it? It's like, well, there you go,
Of course, they always had those bills.
I know.
That happens on both sides.
Oh, whatever, stop it, Bernie.
We
they
said.
didn't have anything in there about sending money to churches, did
To where?
they? Sending money out to a church.
I think there's a lot.
Who just coughed?
For that.
I just been coughing for
Yeah, I've been coughing
for 4
for
weeks,
that.
whatever he's got me
I
wrong.
asked you earlier and you didn't cover your mouth.
Ever since he went to cattle show in Des Moines, he's been that way, yeah.
You wanna be real careful about touching the top of your head too, John, with this going around.
Oh, yeah, cause germs settle.
Yeah, they could just,
My mom coughed in my face a couple of weeks ago or a week ago and I was like, your husband works at the airport, can you not do that to me, please? Like, where did those Egypt people fly in at?
I laugh because some of the people that have been quarantined, their kids go to school, I'm like, well, how is that beneficial?
Well, I have asthma, so I would appreciate it, and an immune system of a flea. So I'm really,
Well, I don't know, some fleas I think are better off than you.
probably. So I prefer not to get sick. I got whooping cough once. That was fun.
Oh, I did once too.
I have a tendency to not go to the doctor, so that ended in pneumonia.
yeah, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
You showed them, didn't you?
Well, I was immunized for it. Who the hell would think I had whooping cough? That woman coughing on me in Casey's really pissed me off. Little did I know it was gonna end 3 years or months of my life.
Could you please write a letter in the paper about it, so everybody knows how you felt?
So cover your damn mouth. That's all I'm saying. I've had a whooping cough booster now, so hopefully it won't happen again, but. And you really do whoop.
That could be pretty serious.
I feel better now.
I couldn't hear you, how's that you?
I couldn't hear you over Kevin's cough.
What is this, week 5?
Yes, it is actually. When did you go,
You know
February?
you don't have it though, because you got it earlier than this.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
We can change that.
The more we talk about it, the more he coughs, so let's just keep doing it.
It's just a scratch in the back of my throat.
That's all right, that whole keep your hands off your face, those people don't have allergies.
Sorry. I liked something
I
that
feel
you
like
on
it's
your
a
wall because you
reason.
had said something. Yeah. And then now it's like.
That didn't
You
guide
haven't
me.
done that if you tried.
I know.
Started writing type again, and then I did because I thought, oh, he would know the answers to
Did it
these
pay me over to
things.
you?
Hey, yeah, Where's that suction cup thing? Throw that at his mouth, see if it sticks.
Wait, I touched that rack.
I'm waiting for the top of your head.
Bring it.
I wonder why he comes up here with it.
What? For the entertainment.
Unfortunately, he did say we in recess, that's why he's playing.
Okay.
You had nothing else to do, so you came over here.
Well, I don't think
Do
it is.
you?
When, you said you got everything done the other day when I talked to you.
That was for that house.
That's all, yeah.
Oh.
No.
Well, you got 2 minutes.
Good day, I'm sure everybody knows.
Getting texts about what I'm supposed to pick up for my pick a better snack at school.
It's probably anyhow.
She has picked up a snack.
You wipe these tables every night?
I'm sure that the cleaning crew does, yes.
Hey, while we're,
They've upped their game.
not discussing anything,
Whoa!
what is the PCC, what exactly is that?
That's patching the highways for them.
Just like patching with cement then, or
Or
what?
concrete.
So they cut out the chunks and
Take it off.
and put out the loose cement in.
Oh, that's what they do, they take out those giant chunks of road? That's so annoying.
When that goes out.
It's more annoying when your car drops in the hole.
Well, yeah.
It's a lot less annoying when they're done.
People have done that.
Oh, I mean,
Alright,
fall in the hole, they cut it out.
well, I Googled and I came up with this blank roads and,
Can't believe everything you Google.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
It's on the internet, it's true.
I talked to a lawyer, he told me
I
that.
spent a lot of time in college figuring out what was legit and what wasn't.
This is really.
Yes, that's
Is this your last thing for the day?
Yes, you are.
I wondered why you were looking at that clock so hard.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Cause I got snacks I gotta pick up at the grocery store.
Healthy snacks?
Pick a better snacks, yes.
Why did we do that?
Why?
You wanna pick a better snack or one you're gonna eat?
They're gonna be pre-wrapped, you're gonna have to wrap, and they're gonna have to touch everything.
Just the pickup.
Okay, so if you call the meeting back to order, I'll move to the drainage district.
Alright. And we're there. Call the meeting back to order.
Motion to go into drainage district?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We are in drainage district, Mr. Lou.
I've given you a copy of the contract that, for the construction of the road improvement by Brian Miller Excavating. It's been executed by Brian Miller Excavating. We've already approved at our public hearing that we had some time ago, the post-forma contract, but I do need a motion authorizing the chair to execute the contract between the drainage districts and Brian Miller Excavating LLC.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Does it say when it's gonna start, or
Huh?
does it say when it's gonna start, or?
In the contract, he has to
When?
start, he's gonna meet with our engineer and they'll set a starting date. I think the contract provided it to be within 10 days.
All those in favor say aye.
And then
Aye.
you
All those
probably
opposed?
could go out and
Same
help them a little.
Go out and what?
Help. Take your shovel, go out there.
Yeah, those-
Let me get to the dog.
you can have both of them in there.
First read.
Really?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go out of drainage district. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We're out of drainage district. Kevin?
Motion to adjourn.
Did you leave?
Second.
Who's gonna sign this for kind of offer? You?
Was Kevin's motion seconded?
Must be.
Okay. All those in
Is
favor
that
say
engineer the,
Last
Aye.
page, John.
project engineer? What is, or,
Boston.
huh?
The guy that's been here a while.
What's his last name?
Oh.
Took it out.
Boston.
Sign it.
Clausen?
Listen, Lou.
I don't know, it's with a C or a K.
See?
Okay.
Thank you,
What's
John.
his company? Okay.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
I'll look
opposed,
for
same
it.
sign. 10:47.
I just wanted to distinguish between Arnold's engineer and the
I'm
project.
gonna take you downstairs and leave the original.
Okay.
They'll leave us the original.
We have to be a special
contract.
engineer for this.
What?
You have to be a special engineer for that.
Put it all
special for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. If you can find someplace that's open, go have fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Go and dance and Lou if you wanna go.
There you go.
I know you love it.
I'll probably miss that dancing.
Alright, well, I know how you love it.
I know.
You're not going tonight, are you?
Yeah,
Are you?
I have dances tonight at 6 something.
Don't forget to go out and
Ah,
watch.
shoot, I forgot to call school. Oh, yeah.
Your house school?
Yeah, she didn't go. She left with Melinda.
Oh, I don't think she's sick.
No. She may be, but she's gone. Well, that was fun. Are you going out to water? See that bridge or not, that radius?
When's that, when you go?
Noon, he said.
I gotta be at home for long, I got that coming up.
Okay.
I can go later, but I can't go further.
No. Thanks.
I have to try to get the cab check, so I can't, I can cancel this one off.
I'm getting ready to cancel on that. It'll be huge if they do.
It'll be huge when this year they have it.
Oh, yeah, they'll have it, because there's others that been canceled.
Everybody else has been canceled.
I don't think we're canceling.
President will address the nation at 3 today, so.
Awesome.
I didn't listen to the last one, but again today at 3.
Yeah, what
3
time?
Eastern.
Is it at 2 today or 1?
I went to 2 too, so I can't think we're gonna go 3 at 2.
3 p.m. That's the Homeland Security.
How should I cancel my hotel reservation?
And cancel by 6 o'clock that night for me.
Kim, do you take, you guys take Cass to the fair next weekend?
I think they're planning on it.
It's gonna be a big show, I think.
It'll be good weather.
I don't know, worry about the weather.
That's surprised I haven't heard about that yet. We haven't just been up for pictures of it.
Well, here you go, I got an email
It'll
from
be
the
a
Schwans.
It'll be a big deal, because there's a lot of.
Schwans guy saying that
Last,
they'll do
last
no
weekend,
touch
just
delivery.
shows
Your
us what
Schwans
people
food.
on other directions, all those
How
shows
they
that,
would do it?
like,
Airmail
dropped out or
or
quit.
So everybody becomes.
No,
I would
I don't know
think.
who's got
He
it.
brings mine in, puts it in the basement of the freezer anyway.
Oh, okay.
Just, is this the best for this?
This
No,
is called-
it's
this
just
is
like
called
an
the-
early region,
Yeah, they call it the spring thaw.
spring thaw, that's it, okay.
And not very many years I remember it being fall.
Yeah, it's snow or anything like that.
I suggested a couple times to change it to the spring freeze.
Spring break?
The 2 years ago, they had the snowstorm.
Mhm.
Yeah, this, that one,
Yes.
it snowed
That
hard,
was
snowed hard on the spring thaw.
Most of those days I would drove out in the pit, I just run my trailer. Did you ever call, yeah, you know, I mean, I forgot to tell you one thing. 'Cause I'm sure he's way too busy to finish.
Yeah, no. I will, don't worry.
Hmm?
I will.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Take care, Rick.
Hey, see you later.
Have fun at dance.
Well, yeah, we'll have to call or text or something, we can't hear each other, but
Right. That's what the kids do, sitting on the couch anyway, so.
it's true.
So, when was it, did you go, Dick, did you go to music or that choir thing the other night
Pardon?
at the school?
Yeah,
Was that packed in there?
last night? No, it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was
a lot of people
there, but there was,
There was parents that were
but there was
calling
people
about
sitting side by
not
side.
coming.
Yeah, very good concert.
I don't really think it's good they took the middle aisle out of that.
I know some dancers have already said they're not coming.
I was supposed to go to English Valley's carnival tonight, but they canceled it.
For middle school or,
Yeah, grade school, games and stuff in the gym and everything.
they always do that in Mary Welsh.
They said it's an order here, you know, so they probably would have, I think they canceled it.
Hey, I'm dying anyway.
That's why it's a pretty cool fun.
Yeah, it is.
I remember taking all our kids to that, it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun, it's fun.
Little
Yeah,
kids,
it's
like,
like
Me too.
Face to face, it's inside, you don't worry about being cold.
That Randy? I knew you were at Mark's Mark.
Oh, this one's just nice.
I was gonna say.
She's got this really long fingernails.
I don't know, I'm like, pick that keyboard up.
You figure actually hits the key? Gotta ask, if there's no way to find out. I bet.
Just the regular one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she had
What
dance.
dance?
Oh, dance.
Dance rules the world, man, you should get on board.
Yeah, she told me she was leaving Thursday morning. to go to
Well, she was at ISAC.
Yeah, to go back.
And she came
started-
back.
Came back.
See, Rose, aren't you lucky you never had any daughters?
I had a son, but he would never been. He was like, wow, son.
I had a grandson in swing show or swing choir, and I was
See,
like,
they didn't even
I
have-
couldn't believe
They
it.
didn't even have swing show, I don't think, when I did. Something they did. Years and years and years of basketball.
I'll pass that one out.
He played the YMCA league, and he was unusually tall for his age, they called him Baby Shaq. Always put on.
He's white. I assume he was white, but thanks for pointing that out.
But I thought it was funny. It was a Rebels California.
Here,
All the
I
kids
need
were
to
white
put
and
this on
called
my
them.
desk.
Called them.
Thanks. You're ruining my plunger.
Everybody have a good weekend. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I'll drop that. I'll drop that.
I better go give Garth some money.
Well, yeah, I guess I am too, picking up that better snack.
So what's the better snack you get, no idea?
I think it's applesauce, and I picked up zucchini last week,
What's one of the different those?
right?
You need a salad?
I drank too much water and all this.
See ya.
Yep.
Thanks,
bye.
Suze.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank you.